Okay, so this is task 1, part 3, A3 best practice of coaching. So firstly we have safeguarding. Safeguarding in sports is the process of protecting children and vulnerable adults from harm by providing a safe space in which to play sports and be active. That was from Sports England. It's widely viewed that safeguarding is everyone's responsibility. For a coach, it is vital that participants' safety and well-being are prioritised under the supervision and duty of care, meaning a legal obligation imposed on an individual requiring that they adhere to a standard of responsible care which performing any act that could possibly harm others. It is common that NGBs, national governing bodies, would set procedures that a coach would follow during specific activities to ensure professionalism and that it is clear how the coach can provide appropriate measures to prevent harm. When safeguarding, there are multiple behavioural indicators which a coach can look out for, suggesting the child might be experiencing abuse or harm. To ensure the safety of the participants in football, the FA provide a safeguarding course to coaches focusing on making football safe. The course is designed so you learn to recognise signs and symptoms of abuse, or understanding the fear involved in the concerns. Okay, moving on. We have DBS. DBS refers to the Disclosure and Barring Service, preventing unsuitable people working with vulnerable individuals, including children. Being aware that coaches can cause harm to children through overtraining, bullying, and other forms of mistreatment is vital. It is therefore crucial that a coach treats children with respect and fair judgment. When employing individuals, previous convictions must be checked. Organisation decides how to conduct searches. In terms of coaching, the coach must be DBS checked by the club, as it's a legal requirement to assess the volunteer or employee, improving recruitment and decisions regarding the DBS feedback. Equal opportunities. When delivering a session, the coach must consider the variety of abilities across all participants, aiming to be as inclusive and fair to all athletes. For example, a coach should never be prejudiced towards certain race, religion, sexual orientation, genders, age, or disability groups. Therefore, a coach needs to demonstrate equality and equal opportunity at all times. It is important that coaches give the athletes the same opportunities to develop and improve their performance and ability. Furthermore, there are more factors that may affect the opportunities which an individual has. For example, the cost of kit, equipment, and general participation fees may not be affordable for all families. On the other hand, an athlete may be having personal and mental issues regarding self-esteem, anxiety, and general fear of discrimination against things like their culture or religion, due to stereotyping and other forms of inequality. This could be a result of a lack of role models which a participant can look up to and work towards and be like that figure. CPD. CPD refers to the continuing professional development, which was created by coaches and designed to enhance and build coaching ability, usually directed by a mentor or supervisor. CPD is mainly obtained through the correct qualifications. For example, national governing bodies have allocated leadership and coaching awards for coaches who are advancing in their ability as a coach. On the other hand, academic qualifications are now becoming regularly available, like a degree or BTEC in a variety of coaching-related subjects. Some more examples are available for developing coaches are here listed below. When looking at sports and college qualifications, an example of a Level 2 GCSE course which incorporates coaching, and I've also got a distinction in, is Sports Studies. Sports Studies focuses on the industry of high performance sports and looks in detail at competitive environments like World Cups and Olympic Games. Moving on to university level qualifications, there is an extensive list of different areas within coaching which can be studied. For example, at Brighton University, you can study sports coaching as an undergraduate, where you develop knowledge, practical skills, and experience needed for a professional career in sports and fitness coaching. When focusing on sports organisations, national governing bodies provide a select few ways to promote the development of a coach. For example, the FA, the National Governing Body of Football in England, provide a referee course. I've also done this referee course, and it enables aspiring referees to have a necessary qualification and promotes development of multiple skills like patience and the ability to remain calm in any situation, which can be applied when focusing on coaching. All coaching-related courses provide a safeguarding segment to the overall qualification. This allows coaches to prevent any harm to participants who may be vulnerable or at risk. For instance, the referee course which I undertook involved completing an individual segment focusing on the protection of participants and safeguarding. We looked at how to spot certain risks and problems that might arise from a football match and how to deal with them appropriately. For example, this could be a parent who is disrupting the game by continuously shouting. You have asked them to be respectful and allow the game to run smoothly, but they do not listen. Therefore, you ask them to leave the game and notify the FA. Risk assessments of environment and activity. At all times, sports coaches have a duty of care to protect and provide a safe environment for participants of the session. A risk assessment enables a coach to determine different risks and dangers and remove or reduce these risks of injury or harm to participants. The risk assessment process involves 5 key steps to prevent harm and dangerous scenarios occurring. 1. Identify hazards. Requiring a coach to examine all equipment, playing surface, and environment. 2. You have establish who and how someone might be at risk by linking the identified hazard to the scenario or individual who may be affected. Thirdly, we have evaluate the risk, deciding on how to ensure the risk is under control. This could be by laying out the measures to prevent the situation escalating and be aware of the emergency processes if necessary. Procedures. 4. Record the findings and implement them into a session plan to ensure a session runs smoothly. 5. Review the risk assessment and update any changing information regarding new hazards or changing hazards. For example, the weather would affect an outdoor football session. Risk would change depending on the quality of the weather. Emergency procedures. When considering a risk assessment, having emergency procedures in place is vital for prevention of harm to participants in specific sessions. Facilities usually provide actions which must be followed to ensure a safe evacuation of a sporting area. For example, providing appropriate exit points and fire escapes during fire drills and evacuation procedures. It is important that a coach regularly checks the health and safety aspect of a session to prevent any emergency procedures being used. This would be carried out before the session has begun. Administration for coaching. Administration is defined as the act of managing duties, responsibilities, or rules. Within coaching, there are numerous related tasks which should be carried out by the coach. This documentation should be secure, organised, and updated regularly to ensure the coach is protected in legal terms. For example, before a session, a risk assessment should be conducted to ensure all hazards are considered and the coach cannot be considered negligible as they have completed records. Furthermore, an example of appropriate and legal administration would be a pre-active readiness questionnaire, where the coach asks specific questions regarding previous or current illness and identify any changing body conditions due to their participation of the certain activity. This technique allows the coach to gather health-related information so they can evaluate if it's appropriate for the individual to participate in sessions, whether they may not be out of their depth in terms of physical demands. For example, an individual who has a heart condition and does not regularly exercise should not be participating in a long-distance running session with other participants who are more physically fit.